This is Dr. Glenn Livingston from RocketClicks.com, and I'm here with Jared Klima, the content network exorcist, who has been experimenting and actually working very aggressively with a relatively new content network strategy that's working very well. We call it or Google calls it the cast your net strategy. Is that correct, Jared?
That is correct, yes.
And do you want to give me a quick history of it, or should we just demonstrate it and then we can explain it as we go?
Sure, I can kind of explain. The idea is, depending on your risk tolerance, you want to be able to basically reach all the potential customers you could on the content network. And I guess, just driving people to Google.com and having them do maybe their dead center or a very important keyword to them, just Googling that and pulling up Google's Wonder Wheel feature. The idea is to find all related keywords and build out a content campaign with each of those keywords in individual ad groups, and really just turn them all on and find out where your actual customers are, and really kind of quote-unquote cast your net through the entire content network to be sure you're reaching all the potential customers you can.
But no, not all of those. First of all, you don't want every related keyword because that could be hundreds of them, yes?
Yeah, I mean, you want to kind of gauge your tolerance here, but I find that between 50 to 75 of the closest keywords around your center keyword is appropriate and a good strategy to go with.
Okay, and then you're using the new Wonder Wheel to find those keywords, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so why don't we demonstrate with an example? And you and I were talking about Brett Favre before.
Right.
I feel like I've just lost a testicle or something like that because I actually didn't know who he was beforehand. I'm not really a sports fan.
Well, if you're from the Midwest, you definitely know who he is. And basically, the big news today is he's officially going to be signing with Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
As their new starting quarterback. And when I did a result search via the Wonder Wheel, I found some pretty interesting related searches, and I think this would be a great example for everyone.
Okay, so if we do it, is this how you spell Brett Favre?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank God for Ajax. Okay, so you do the search in Google, then you click up here on the Show Options, correct?
Yeah, right at the top of the page.
And then under Show Options, you go down to the Wonder Wheel.
Left side, it's in the category of standard views, usually highlighted, yeah.
Okay.
So what you like to do is now you see the Wonder Wheel at the center of your screen with that keyword you had searched for, and then you see a bunch of related searches. So for our example, we have Brett Favre Jets, is where he played last year. We have Brett Favre Vikings because there's been a whole ordeal about if he was going to play. And then you have a lot of other discussions, which is the idea of when somebody types in Brett Favre, these are the likely searches they'll type in after.
Okay.
Okay. So what I like to do, and this is a fairly, I've had some great successes with it. Some other clients have been marginal, but I really suggest anybody going after the content network try this strategy. And as you see all of these quote-unquote keywords coming off of the center here, you will want to put each of these keywords in their own ad group. And the idea is, the ad group is themed out. Well, if you only put one keyword in there, you're kind of coming up with the broadest theme, and it'll get you out as far as possible. Now, obviously, you want to kind of scrutinize some of these. For example, if you're using ones with location, and location might not be very specific for you, I have found that including a location of a keyword, maybe it says Brett Favre, Minnesota.
Here it says Brett Favre Vikings, New Jersey, right? Or no, it says Jersey, sorry.
Yeah. And this is just a great example just so people kind of understand how putting geo-targeted keywords in your ad group can affect it. So if I was to do Brett Favre, Minnesota, what I would actually find is a lot of times I would show up on local websites relative to the city and the state around Minnesota. You might have Minneapolis news station show up. And so just understand that when you're picking these out, you do want to kind of scrutinize the keywords you pick, but you can be fairly open with it because it is the content network.
Okay, Jared, so what you're saying is that when you have geographic specific keywords, Google interprets those more broadly as anything having to do with that geography, and it will try to expose your ad on, even if it says Brett Farr, Bumble Turd, New Jersey. You might wind up on some Bumble Turd news stations that have nothing to do with Brett Farr. Is that what you're saying?
You got it. Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. That is something that I've kind of come across, so I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. But the idea here is, okay, with how the Wonder Wheel works is when you go and click on the next term that's kind of tied into it, it kind of stretches out a new wheel. So if somebody, on the Brett Favre search, we then clicked on Brett Favre trade, and now you find a lot of things related to that. And you can kind of take it as far as you really want to, but you kind of see that after 2 or 3 clicks from your first search, it can start to get a little too far, maybe a little too vague, and probably a bit unrelated. Excuse me. So what I like to recommend is, based on your center keyword, you pick all the keywords around that, and you put those in their own ad groups, and then you go and click on each one of them, each one of those individually, and pick those next set. So in this one, we're at Brett Favre. If we were to click on Brett Favre trade, we would then take all the keywords that are tied to this one and put those again in their own ad group. You might want to stretch a certain category out a little bit more because it might be a little bit more specific to what you're looking for. That's fine. But do understand, though, the more and more clicks you get, the better chance of it being unrelated.
Okay, and the nice thing about the Wonder Wheel is it gives you a visual representation of exactly how related it is to your initial center keyword, as opposed to the Google Keyword Tool, which just might list 150 related keywords, and you don't really have a sense of how far out you've gone.
Exactly.
And Jared, I'm sorry, I want to be 100% clear so people know what to do. So you type in, Brett Favre, and then you go to the Wonder Wheel. You're going to make one campaign with an ad group that has a single keyword in each. I'm sorry, you're going to make one campaign with a single keyword for each ad group. So in this case, you would so far have 9 different ad groups. And then you're going to click on each of the keywords in this first concentric circle, and you're going to